ये आगे हम द ग्लासगो रॉयल कॉन्सर्ट हॉल में, अभी आपको दिखाती हूँ। अभी हम कहाँ खड़े हैं?
अभी हम सड़क पर खड़े हैं।
हेलो गाइस, कैसे हैं आप? आज हमारा प्लान है ग्लासगो जाने का, तो ऑल इज सेट फॉर ग्लासगो। आज 1 डे ट्रिप है हमारा ग्लासगो के लिए, पोर्ट पैट्रिक से। होप कि हम खूब इंजॉय करेंगे और आपको भी साथ अपने इंजॉय कराएंगे। ये देखें, ये पीछे ये सी है। कल हमने सारा दिन यहाँ पे इंजॉय किया था, आज हम ग्लासगो के लिए निकल रहे हैं। तो आपको रास्ते में मैं दिखाती जाऊंगी। मैंने सुना है कि ग्लासगो बहुत खूबसूरत, इससे भी ज़्यादा खूबसूरती है वहाँ पे। लेट्स सी। नहीं, वो भी अभी पीछे ही रखो। चलें। ये मेरी जैकेट भी मेरी रख दें। हाँ, सिर्फ शॉल साथ। चलें। ये दोनों गाड़ियाँ रेडी हैं। एक बैठ जाओ। चले जी, शाइमा और आबिद इधर बैठ गए हैं। उधर बच्चे बॉयज सारे उस गाड़ी सेट हो गए। अभी सुबह के 9 बजे हैं और हमने अपना ट्रैवल जो है स्टार्ट किया है और तकरीबन 2 घंटे में हम लोग ग्लासगो पहुंच जाएंगे।
ये सोचा ना कि सिटी टॉप बस टूर करांगे।
हाँ,
2-3 जगह तो लेके जाएगी, उतर जाएंगे।
हाँ, कहते हैं कि अगर आपको नहीं पसंद तो आप उतर जो है।
जितने मर्जी उतर के।
अच्छा अगर अच्छा
पूरे दिन की टिकट होगी।
अच्छा ये फेरी जाती कहाँ तक है? अच्छा, यही है जो फेरी है। यहाँ से फेरी जो है वो आयरलैंड जाती है। हमारा तो प्लान ही फ्लॉप हो गया। वो है फेरी जा रही 2.25 घंटे में।
ये ज्यादा बड़ा है और ये पैसेंजर वाला ज्यादा। ये वो दूसरे वाला जो था वो उसमें ज्यादा गाड़ियां जाती हैं।
अच्छा, इसमें ज्यादा लोग। हाँ,
ये स्टैना लाइन जो है ये लोगों का और गाड़ियां, इसमें अपनी कार आप लेके जा सकते हैं।
अच्छा के सामने से
वापस आया है ना। ये लोग
अच्छा, वो
गाड़ियों से।
अच्छा ये वापस आई है।
वापस आई, उतर रहे हैं लोग गाड़ियों। एल्सा ग्रेग जेड़े ना ग्रेग वो पहाड़ी का नाम है।
शिप पे, यहाँ से शिप जो है वो एल्सा ग्रेग जाती है। ये देखें, मुझे ऐसी जो है ना बोर्ड से बहुत डर लगता है, जो बिल्कुल कितना खूबसूरत चर्च सेंटर। ये गिरवन की हाई स्ट्रीट, यहाँ से आप कह रहे थे ना गुजरने के लिए।
वो स्वीटी शॉप है, वहाँ डिफरेंट स्वीट्स हैं। स्कॉटिश स्वीट्स
नजर ही नहीं आ रही। अच्छा, सबसे पहले जो है वो ये स्कॉटलैंड वालों ने शॉपर्स का वो स्टार्ट किया पैसे लेने। 5 से अब 30 पे आ गए हैं। हमारे अभी भी स्टिल मेरे ख्याल में शायद 6 सेंट 10 सेंट, 5 के 6 सेंट और बड़े के
मिनिमम 10 सेंट।
हाँ,
जानने वाले थे वो जब स्कॉटलैंड
होता था कि फ्री होते थे। सबसे पहले जब हम साउथ अफ्रीका गए ना, वहाँ पे मेरे लिए अजीब बात थी हुई कि हमने चीज़ें ली तो वो कहते जी वो घर से बैग लाने भूल गए हैं जिनके साथ हम। तो मैंने कहा क्यों, बैग नहीं वो देंगे? कहते नहीं खरीदने पड़ते हैं। तब मुझे ये 2012 की बात है, उससे पहले जो है ना मुझे नहीं था पता कि पैसों के। देखिए फार्मिंग इधर भी नहीं है। फिर कितने माइल्स रह गए? हाँ, ये देखिए वेलकम टू ग्लासगो। सिटी सेंटर जो है वो 8 माइल्स रह गए, यानी हम ग्लासगो में एंटर हो गए हैं ना। मैंने पहले बताया हो ना पीछे वालों कि हमने रुकना है, फिर तो ठीक। चलें जी, डिसाइड ये हुआ कि गाड़ियाँ हम यहाँ पे पार्क करेंगे और तकरीबन 5 मिनट्स का सफ़र जो है ट्यूब के ज़रिए करेंगे। ये इजी वे था ताकि हमें बार बार गाड़ियाँ पार्क करने की टेंशन ही ना रहे। और इसके अलावा ये क्विक वे था वहाँ पे पहुँचने का, क्योंकि गाड़ियों के लिए ट्रैफिक जैम वगैरह में अगर स्टक हो जाए तो काफ़ी टाइम वेस्ट होता है। और हमारा ये 1 डे टूर था और हम बिल्कुल भी नहीं चाहते थे कि हमारा टाइम वेस्ट हो। और यहाँ हम सारे वेट कर रहे हैं ट्यूब की टिकट लेने के लिए, और ये बोबी भाई ने सबकी टिकट ले ली है।
पूरी टिकट तैयार है।
हारिम तेरा हो ही क्यों नहीं हो रहा?
अच्छा, इसी टिकट पे वापस आना है?
हाँ, संभाल के सारे अपने अपने पॉकेट में रख लो। ट्रेन की टिकट ये वो रख ले। चले जी सब ट्रेन। ये तो कुछ नहीं, मैं इसको कह रही हूँ कि वो तेरे लिए बैठ जो जब जगह है। चलिए जी, ग्लासगो की मेन स्ट्रीट पे हम आ गए हैं और अब ग्लासगो में फ़न स्टार्ट होता है। तो आप भी हमारे साथ साथ रहिए और देखते हैं कि आज हम ग्लासगो में सारा दिन क्या करते हैं। काफ़ी, और मौसम देखिए, मौसम इतना खूबसूरत। ये आ गए हम द ग्लासगो रॉयल कॉन्सर्ट हॉल में। अभी आपको दिखाती हूँ। ये हम द ग्लासगो रॉयल कॉन्सर्ट हॉल के बाहर हैं। ये कॉन्सर्ट हॉल है। स्कॉटिश फर्स्ट एवर फर्स्ट मिनिस्टर, ये स्कॉटिश फर्स्ट मिनिस्टर था उनका। देखिए ये कोई हिस्टोरिकल बिल्डिंग है बड़ी अच्छी, वेरी नाइस हिस्ट्री आर्किटेक्चर।
11 altogether. How many of them are under 15 years? 2, 3. And all the 11. And the rest all in like students. Yeah, that's good enough for me. So I'll put in the rest of the student tickets. So that's fine.
आयमा को उसने इंचार्ज बना दिया हाँ मैप्स का आशा और आयमा हमारी इंचार्ज
Let's get this sorted out for you. Now, if you bear with me, what I'll need to do, just to keep it under the limit, is I'll charge you the 6 student tickets and then I'll charge the family tickets separately, if that's okay. So it'll be 90 for the first 6. Just tap on top.
तकरीबन 15 मिनट इंतज़ार के बाद अब हम बस में बैठ गए हैं ये देखिए हम लोग बैठ गए हैं सिटी टूर बस पे और अभी हम पूरा ग्लासगो जो है वो देखते जाते हैं ये
Out? No? Okay then. Right. Well, sorry for the delay today. We're going to be leaving early on this tour. So just to welcome you to Glasgow, everybody. My name is Donna and I'll be your tour guide for this part of the afternoon, along with our driver Colin, also known as the Dream Team. So here we go. So we're just going up to what is known as Cathedral Street, and it's also known as the Street of Learning, and we're about to learn why. Just as Colin takes us up to the lights, as we turn round, have a look at the right hand side, once we turn right at the lights, and Glasgow's newest mural has just been painted. This one is called Cause for Change, and it's actually been, this one has been done by somebody at Cathedral Street. It's also called the Street of Learning. So you're about to learn why. If you look over to the left hand side, we can see this very large white building with the pillars in front. This is the Glasgow New College, and that educates up to 27,000 students in there. Also in this street we have parts of Strathclyde University, which sit over to the right hand side. So Colin will just take us by them in a wee minute. Does this mic sound jarring to you? We'll see Strathclyde University over to the right, and that would be the red buildings. Strathclyde University was originally known as the Anderson Institute, and it was first founded by John Anderson. He was a professor of physics and Oriental languages. He was meant to be a bit of a boy and a bit of a joker. So what he did was he left his will and his vast amount of money to the poorer people of Glasgow for future learning, basically in the university. So we have Strathclyde University over there. It's where the Professor of Surgery, Joseph Lister. Now he was trying to save lives on the theatre, the operating table, but in fact he was actually losing 45% of his patients on the table due to a disease. So what he did was he pioneered the carbolic spray, and this led to today's antiseptic. So this all happened here in Glasgow Royal Infirmary. That's a large building with the domes there. It was also the very first hospital to use ultrasound. This was on pregnant women to check the health of the unborn child. Just as we come up to the traffic lights, coming into view, you'll see the very beautiful black Gothic Glasgow Cathedral. It's got its green roof there. Glasgow Cathedral is actually stood there from the 12th century, and it was on this spot that the patron saint, St Mungo, he formed a small church here in the 6th century. So this was the spot where the beginning of Glasgow actually started. We're coming up to bus stop number 2. This is for Glasgow Cathedral. It's truly steeped in history, folks. It's a beautiful place to have a nice walk round actually. You can just see that over to your left hand side. So as Colin stops at the lights, if you look to your left hand side again, you'll see this lovely building here. This is St Mungo's Museum of Religious Life and Art. This was actually the first building in the world to celebrate all the world's different religions under one roof, folks. We're just going to stop, I think, are we, Colin? So we're now going down the High Street, which is the oldest street in Glasgow. And coming up to your right hand side, you have a very beautiful mural. This is a modern day depiction of St Mungo performing one of his miracles and bringing his pet robin back to life. That was actually by Sam Bates, the Australian street artist, and you'll see more of his work further on the tour. So as we are going down the High Street, which is the oldest in Glasgow, just before bus stop number 2, I pointed out the museum and where the old Glasgow Castle used to stand. So all also over to your left-hand side, this part of Glasgow was actually where the original Glasgow University once stood. But also it was known as the Havana. It was disease-ridden, it was worse than Edinburgh for vice, and that's probably saying something. So it still stands there proudly. It was also a place for public humiliation. So just here now you can see the lovely toll booth steeple. As you can see, it runs over 7 flights here also. So the next stop will be bus stop number 4. This is for Lickney Sweet Shop. It's a lovely wee sweet shop. It's been here for over 100 years. So we're now going to be going to bus stop number 5, and this is for a great new place. This is for the People's Palace. It's just coming up after the trees. We also have our own Statue of Liberty at the top of it there, you can see. So just as Colin takes us round, if you look to the left, we can see the largest terracotta fountain in the world. This is the Dalton Fountain, with Queen Victoria just sitting on the top. Also behind that, we have this kind of strange looking building. If you're going to stay here just now, Colin. That's home to the beautiful Salvador Dali painting, but it is going to be leaving Kelvin Grove Art Gallery on the 5th of August. It goes on loan, so you still get time to see it. So coming into view, you've got a proper view of Glasgow Green now. The green itself, as I said, was gifted to the people of Glasgow in 1450. Some of its original uses were for cattle grazing, and this is where a lot of the Glasgow wifeys would also bring their big bucket of washing with bleach in it. In these days it would be long skirts they would wear, so they would have to lift the skirts up to do the washing, much to the amusement of the male spectators. And just mind your head as you go under these bushes here. Don't have to take you to the Royal Infirmary anytime soon, folks. So what is happening here is next week we're hosting part of this, but it was also used for something else. This is where people were dished out capital punishment. The last person to be hung here in Glasgow Green was in 1865, and this was Dr. Pritchard. Also, if we go round, if you look over to your right, you'll be able to see the Merchant's Tower sticking up. And I'll show you the rest of the Merchant's Tower as we go round. If you look over to the left-hand side, you can see this beautiful big archway. This is known as the McClellan Arch. This was actually part of Robert Adams's. He was a great Glasgow architect. So also, this part of Glasgow, at the other side of the Clyde, is where once stood a leper colony. This is Glasgow Sheriff Court. It's reputed to be the busiest in Europe. Now, just as we come up to the traffic lights, if we can look more left-hand side, we can see this small pub called the Scotia Bar. That was one of the oldest in Glasgow, and that's where Billy Connolly used to play in his folk band, with Jerry Rafferty and the Humble Buns also. Now, we're now sitting in what's called Stockwell Street. If you remember back at the High Street, I mentioned William Wallace and the Battle. Well, this on this side. If you look to the left-hand side, you can see the large glass roof of the City Enoch Centre. You can see the large grey building of the Marks and Spencers. It wasn't always that. This was actually where the old Black Bull Inn once sat, and this is where Robert Burns wrote A Fond Kiss, is in this site here. We will be coming into some beautiful architecture just in a few minutes, folks. If you remember back at the Glasgow Green, I mentioned the McClellan Arch. That belonged to Robert Adams. So if you look over to the left-hand side, we can see the Trades House. The architect for that was Robert Adams. The grey building here with the white arches. So we're now going to be getting into what is known as the Italian Centre. For those of architecture here as well. And you get a wee man there, he must have sore shoulders by now, trying to lift that up. And we also have the logo there to the left-hand side of Glasgow. The Gallery of Modern Art itself is one of the most visited modern museums in the world. So that's well worth a wee shot as well, folks, if you have the time. So just coming up ahead, we have the Gallery of Modern Art. So this is bus stop 7 here. Here, I pressed the elevator, sorry. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
यहाँ हम सब जो टूर वाली बस थी हम उससे नीचे उतरे हैं क्योंकि हम सबको बड़ी भूख लग रही है और दोपहर के ये 2 बज रहे हैं, 2 सवा 2 बजे का टाइम। और अभी हम खाने का ढूंढ रहे हैं कि कहाँ से कोई हमें अच्छा खाना मिल जाए। सब देसी खाना खाना चाह रहे हैं क्योंकि जिस दिन से हम आए हैं बर्गर सैंडविच ये वो इस तरह सब कुछ। अभी देखें डिसाइड कर रहे हैं कि कहाँ पे हम लोग जो है वो खाना खाएंगे। अभी हम सारे सबवे में जा रहे हैं, देसी खाना कभी नहीं मिला। हाँ हाँ ठीक है हाँ जी ठीक है। अभी हम ज़्यादा फिरना ही चाहते हैं तो हम जल्दी से सबवे का और फिश एंड चिप्स लेंगे। यहाँ से हमने कुछ ने फिश एंड चिप्स लिया, किसी ने सबवे लिया और हम लोगों ने जल्दी से लंच करके सबको बहुत ज़ोर की भूख लगी हुई थी। फिश एंड चिप्स ये
No, only vinegar.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I put my own salt?
Okay. Thank you. ध्यान से वो ये ना उठा के दौड़ जाए। वो देखें सारे अपना सबवे से लंच लेते आ रहे हैं और हम लोग फिश एंड चिप्स खा रहे हैं। आयमा वो नहीं डरो, आयमा वो कुछ नहीं कह रहे आपको।
मेरी तरफ देखो।
आयमा जो है वो देखो डॉगी से डर रही है। वो आपका सबवे आपके से खाने आ रहे हैं, कह रहे हैं मेरे से शेयर नहीं आयमा ने किया। वो देखो अभी हम लंच करके और उसके बाद हाँ ड्रिजलिंग हो रही है,
कोई बड़ी लंबी लाइन है।
तो उसके बाद हम लोग रखे कि हम वहाँ से उतर गए थे।
Of Brewery Street is where indeed the 1884 Horseshoe Bar is. Look down to your left. The Horseshoe Bar inside has one of the longest bars for a pub in the United Kingdom in the shape of a horseshoe. That beautiful front facade used to be an old picture house at one time. Look above on the right. And to the right here is where the Grand Central Hotel is. On the left above, the Cadora building, modelled on a Venetian palace from Venice, designed by John Hanneman. Under the canopy to the left, the Egyptian halls, designed by Alexander Greek Thompson. And this is indeed Union Street, named after the 1707 Union of Parliament between Scotland and England. Look to your right-hand side. Central Station Bridge. Central Station Bridge. So Glasgow people today call the bridge the Helaman's umbrella, like a place for shelter when it rains. Established and successful in Glasgow in 1800s time. If you could afford to drink the fine exotic teas, the everyday person could not afford it. Well, before Central Station was ever built here,
बस जो है वो भी क्योंकि माइक में बोलते हैं तो उनकी आवाज़ भी हमें आ रही है।
And the village was called Grahamston. I'll tell you more about it when we come out of here because it's too echoey. You'll not hear it. It's just a bad echo, the feedback, yeah. In front of us, Hop Street, the Victorian architecture of the building of the Grand Central Hotel. Gene Kelly stayed in the Grand Central Hotel in the past. Frank Sinatra. Laurel and Hardy, Winston Churchill, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. John Logie Baird in 1927 stayed in the Grand Central Hotel, to name but a few. Sugar, tea, spices, tobacco in around the 1800s. 10 is your next stop inside your tour map. Hit the button very hard once and remain seated until we get to the official stops. On the left hand side everyone, the huge mural. Get your cameras clicking if you love murals.
Beach from Sydney in Australia. It took him 3 weeks to complete that mural. Over to the left, everyone, photos of the River Clyde on the left. Now, at one time, Glasgow was known as the third biggest port in the United Kingdom. And Glasgow was known at one time as the workshop of the empire. Because we built on the Clyde at one time, everyone, the QE2, the Queen Mary, the Royal Yacht Britannia, the Hood, and that was not even including the you for sure that you were getting quality. We used to have well over 80 shipbuilding companies stretching for miles on the left along the Clyde. We only have 2 shipbuilding companies left. One is called Ferguson's at Inverclyde, and the other one is the Govan Shipyards at BAE, where they build warships and frigates when they get the contracts, that is. To the left here, another fine view of the Clyde. Now this is Lansfield Quay we're on, and the reason as to why they call this area here today Lansfield Quay is because way back in the 1100s time, this was all fields and farmland here, and the knights came here in the 1100s period of time to practice their jousting and horseback. That's why the area today is called Lansfield Quay. Over to the left here, the proper name of the bridge is the Clyde Art Bridge, if you want a photo on your left. Many Glasgow people today call the bridge the Squinty Bridge because it is not built to a straight angle. From a Glasgow point of view, the saying squinty means not built to a straight angle. Get your photos on the left, the Squinty Bridge. On the left hand side of the bridge there is a round red brick building called a rotunda. Someone has pressed the button, have a great time. And on the right, the other rotunda. They used to have hydraulic lifts inside, which would have lowered people to a tunnel entrance leading beneath the Clyde, to that rotunda on the left hand side of the Clyde, or to the one on the right, now sealed off today. Have a great time, okay? Thank you for joining. Everyone look up on your left, the Finnis and Cran. Back in the day of the heavy shipbuilding industry days, that cran could lift 175 tons maximum load, from steam locomotive engines to tram cars to much more mechanical items. And for the Crown Plaza Hotel, someone's hit the button. Have a lovely time. Hold on tight. Now, the Oval Hydro concert venue. Inside it holds a capacity of approximately 13,000 people. Some of the biggest names from the world of the music industry have indeed graced the stages in this venue to the left. From Sir Rod Stewart to Sir Tom Jones. So you may well want to do this maybe tomorrow. You pay the Science Centre staff and the lift can take you right to the top to the observation cabin. Clydeside Whisky Distillery, we've got a gentleman and a lady. That's the Queetberry steamer to your left hand side behind. Side Museum and the Glenlee Tall Ship. On the left here, the Glenlee Tall Ship was built in 1896, circumnavigated the globe 4 times, and tackled Cape Horn in South America on a number of occasions with the Glenlee Tall Ship. On the left here, free entry. The Riverside Museum will stop soon, so relax, remain seated just for safety until we get to the official stops. This very futuristic building ahead was designed by the Iraqi-born architect Zaha Hadid. Designed this building. Everyone, look straight ahead and you will see the lift going up inside the Glasgow Tower. Can you all see it, everyone? Look straight ahead. The lift is going right up to the top of the Glasgow Tower with all the other visitors on board it. As we turn, we're flying over Scotland. But they kept him in Govan Police Station for one night. That was 1941, police in Australasia. James MacDonald has to get his binoculars out. For off the coastline of Melbourne in Australia, anchored off the coastline of Melbourne, the 460-ton ferret steamship was now anchored. Now it took the Glasgow tricksters, like I say, absolutely months to do this. Once it got there, it was too late. And of course I think that would make a wonderful movie. I'm sure that would make a marvellous movie, and the fact that it actually happened in 1881 is even more incredible. On the left beneath us, the world famous Bonaccord for whiskey. On the left above, built in the Edwardian Baroque style of architecture, the Mitchell Library on the left above, largest reference library in Europe. Well, oops, the lights have changed. Now I don't know if you'll hear this because of the traffic noise. I'll save it when the lights change to green, because you'll not hear it with the noise rising from the traffic. So if you hear me becoming quiet, Oscar Slater was wrongfully blamed with the murder of a wealthy spinster by the name of Marion Gilchrist. Now in 1908, the police were going to hang Oscar Slater for a crime this man did not commit. They later suggested that Oscar Slater in 1908 was to serve 20 years doing hard labour in Peterhead Prison, Scotland, remembering he did not commit the crime. Oscar Slater in 1908 served half the sentence because Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote Sherlock Holmes, stepped in. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle seen it as an honour to get this innocent man released from jail, and he got him out of jail. Good on Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote Sherlock Holmes, who got Oscar Slater released from Peterhead Prison. On the right here beneath us, the Arlington Bar. Now if you ever go into that bar on the right, they claim to have inside, it might sound nuts, but they have a stone in a niche which you can touch by hand. And the bar staff in the Arlington claim it is Jacob's Pillar, the stone of destiny. I know it sounds nuts. If you ever go in, speak to the staff, because they do have a stone in a niche, and they're so adamant that it is the original Jacob's Pillar, Stone of Destiny. Remember the pub called Arlington Bar, Woodlands Road. Now over to the right here, the old Woodlands High School building, now converted into a great bar and restaurant, straight ahead. Now inside, in the Hunterian Museum, they have the distance slabs from the Roman Antonine Wall, which were built by the 2nd, the 6th and 20th Legion of the Roman Empire, with pure gold Roman coins to preview inside, and children's leather gladiatorial sandals to preview inside, dating from 142 AD. So it's great, but you'll need to be quick to see it because 4:15 is the last time to get in. Mind your heads on the left, the branches coming down low here. Mind your heads, everyone, and your eyes. On the left above, Glasgow University, beautiful area to walk around. Built in 1870, Glasgow University on the left. Designed by Sir George Gilbert Scott. He also designed St Pancras Station in London. Now look up to the right, everyone. That's where the Hunterian is, up the hill to the right. So remember, 4:15, you get 5 minutes to try and get in there. You'll need to be quite brisk, okay? If you came to collect an honorary degree in 1933 from the University of Glasgow. And what a genius that man was, Albert Einstein. He was in Glasgow University in 1933, was the precise year that Albert Einstein came to Glasgow Uni to collect his honorary degree. What a genius he was, the man of the law of relativity. Botanic Park, which is 10 minutes walk along to the right. Ashton Lane down to your right, where the ubiquitous chip restaurant is, and the Bothy in Roofton Lane. Does anybody want 15 outside? No? Oh, there's passengers waving us down. Building many months ago. We shall stop outside Kelvin Grove soon, but everyone relax. Neil knows you want to stop. The button is lit up red. Now inside Kelvin Grove Museum, they have masters of artwork from Rembrandt to Monet, Picasso, and the Salvador Dali depiction of Christ of St. John on the cross. They also have Japanese warrior armour and glass casing, knight's armour and glass casing to preview, fossilised dinosaur bones, and the Mary Quant exhibition is on inside until the 22nd of October this year about the style icon Mary Quant. Down to the left now, great view for photos. And to the right here is Kelvin Hall Sports Centre, where the athletes train within this building on the right. Left here, Kelvin Grove Art Gallery Museum is built in the Hispanic Baroque style of architecture. So someone has pressed the button, have a great time. And we've got lots of visitors coming down, I think. Yeah, we do. Hold on tight, it was safe, Neil, yeah? Thank you. Have a great time, enjoy, you're welcome. Only 3 single seats beside other passengers left at the moment. One under the canopy and some outside. It's beside the lady out there, yeah? To last. It's built of red Macabre brick from the quarries in the Dumfriesshire of Scotland. Hispanic Baroque style of architecture. Down to the left here, the well-manicured bowling lawns where the game of bowling is often played. And up to the left, Glasgow University. Come in. So be very vigilant. On this section of the route, the branches come down low, remain seated. Mind your head, your hats and your eyes. On the left-hand side outside. Watch your faces on the left here and your glasses. Up to the right, the Gurdwara Sikh temple. Straight ahead here is the Charing Cross Mansions with the French mansard sloping roof at the top. Different symbols in gold upon the clock ahead. And look on the left, everyone. The Charing Cross Mansions, built to represent fresh water coming into Glasgow from Loch Katrine on the left. Cameron Memorial Fountain, yeah. Now it's tilting to the right, claimed to be the cause subsidence. When they were building the motorway here many years ago, subsidence was claimed to be the cause of the stance. On the left above, built in 1891 with the French mansard sloping roof, Victorian architecture in all its splendour. Always look up on the left above you, the detail in the buildings are tremendous here. Anyone for 18? No one for 18. The left above, the Beresfords. In the 1930s, John F. Kennedy made one of his first speeches in that building, the Beresford, the Art Deco building. Mind your eyes on the left with the branching. 19 coming up. Down to your right, Heavenly Desserts. Great desserts in here, very good quality. Now, straight ahead in front of us is the main pedestrian walkway of Sauchie Hall Street. Sauchie Hall Street means meadow of the willow trees, or willow bank. And over to your right behind the green trees, you'll see the Macintosh at the Willow Tea Rooms, the original tea room designed by Charles Rennie Macintosh, Scottish architect. Directly at the bus stop, 5 minutes walk round the corner from the Royal Conservatoire Dramatic School is the Piping Centre. There's an M Hotel and Maldron Hotel. Remember, your ticket will get you a discount in over 80 cities globally around the world with the official red branded bus. However, to the right here, Hope Street was one of the 5 richest streets in Glasgow. In the 19th century was Hope Street. Because Hope Street was home to many, many printworks owned by Robert and Andrew Follis, who were the greatest Scottish printers of their day in the United Kingdom, were Robert and Andrew Follis. On your right above, the Pavilion Theatre. It's claimed to be the only theatre in Glasgow which has a retractable roof at the top, and it's only open to release the toxic fumes from the cigarette and pipe smoke from the past. In certain places, or in most places rather. You used to be able to smoke pipes and cigarettes in the past in Glasgow, and the retractable roof at the top of the Pavilion Theatre was opened to release the toxic fumes. Yeah. It's only open once a year now during the panto season to release the balloons at Christmas time into the midnight air. On the right above, the bird, the bell, the fish and the tree, Glasgow City Baron. So this is the bus station on the left. Have a great time everyone. Enjoy. Clota. Clota was the name the Romans referred to the Clyde as. Quite fascinating that they came up the Clyde from 71 AD. Now, we're going to head back down to number 1 to George Square. Now this bus, if any traffic lights play a part in this, so we'll get back to the square as soon as. At the bottom of the hill here, George Square. George Square ahead of us. It was laid out in the reign of King George III from 1782. But you will never find a statue to King George III on the square. Just have a wee seat for safety just in case you fall down these steps, okay? So straight ahead here, George Square was laid out in the reign of King George III from 1782. But you'll never ever see the statue of the poor man King George III. Because when he lost the American colonies, Glasgow almost became a financial ruin. And so he was not very popular after the failure. Statue of Sir Walter Scott, who wrote Ivanhoe, Lady of the Lake, Rob Roy and the Waverley novels did Sir Walter Scott write, the Scottish novelist. That's his statue, like I say, in front of us. At the top of the centre Doric column, Sir Walter Scott, the Scottish novelist, who came from the borders of Scotland. On the right is Queen Street Station, linking Glasgow by train to Edinburgh and many other cities by train. And to the right here, this hotel was once called the North British Hotel, where Harry Hopkins met Winston Churchill to discuss America coming into the Second World War. So we will leave immediately once the new drivers swap over. On behalf of Donna and your driver Neil, we wish you a very pleasant time in the city of Glasgow. And remember, the last entrance into the Glasgow Cathedral is 4:30. It will be closed at this time. On behalf of Donna and Neil, enjoy the last bus.
जी अभी हम ट्रेन स्टेशन की तरफ जा रहे हैं और अपनी गाड़ियों तक जाने के लिए हम ट्यूब पे थोड़ा सफ़र करेंगे। शाम के 6 साढ़े 6 बजे का टाइम है और अभी हम लोग अच्छा चलो कोई नहीं अच्छा ये देखें बड़ी बिजी रोड है मे भी ट्रेन स्टेशन की वजह से। यहाँ जी फिर हम वापस जा रहे हैं क्योंकि मैंने एकदम से सोचा कि हमने यहाँ से कोई सवेनियर तो लिया ही नहीं, क्योंकि जहाँ कहीं भी हम जाते हैं हम ज़रूर वहाँ का सवेनियर लेते हैं। तो अभी हम ढूंढ रहे हैं कोई ऐसी शॉप जहाँ से हमें कोई थोड़ा बहुत सवेनियर मिल जाए। और ये बाहर कुछ मैग्नेट्स हमें नज़र आ गए हैं, अभी अंदर चल के देखते हैं और कुछ सवेनियर्स। ये देखें ये सवेनियर्स की शॉप में हम आ गए हैं। ये क्या है? हाँ ये क्या है? हाँ ये दिस इज नाइस।
इसको कैरी करना है इसको।
हाँ नहीं बॉक्स है वो, देखो बॉक्स में है। हाँ
ओके
हाँ मुझे भी ब्लू।
यस
कितने का है? कितने का? की चेन्स है।
I hope all is well. That's fine. कुछ और लेना तो बताएं।
और तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। स्कॉटिश पाइपर ये हमने एज अ सवेनियर बाय किया। सब ट्रेन का वेट कर रहे हैं। वो ट्रेन गई, 3 मिनट्स में हमारी ट्रेन भी आ जाएगी। लो जी उधर की आ गई, उधर की फिर पहले आ गई। हाँ
बहुत मजा आया, थक गए। सारी स्कॉटलैंड की सारी बिल्डिंग्स देखी, स्काईलाइन इतनी खूबसूरत है कि दिल चाहता था कि हर इमारत की तस्वीर
हाँ।
खींचें। इतना आर्किटेक्चर, ग्रीक आर्किटेक्चर, गोथिक आर्किटेक्चर, जबरदस्त विक्टोरियन आर्किटेक्चर।
आपने भी इंजॉय किया? वापस जाने के लिए अपनी गाड़ी को चार्ज करने लगे। अभी ये रात के 8 बज रहे हैं, दिन देखें बिल्कुल भी अभी नहीं ढला। अभी मेरे को तकरीबन 9:30 बजे तक होना है ना, 9:30 बजे तक जो है वो सूरज गरूब होगा। सुबह देखे कैसे जो है वो धूप निकली हुई थी ना। शुक्र है जब हम वापस आ रहे हैं मौसम ऐसा हुआ, सुबह ठीक खुले बादल है, मुझे लगता है बारिश आ रही है। दरख्तों ने टनल सी बनाई हुई है। बड़े मजे का मौसम। अभी 8:30 9:30 बजे हो जाएगा। 9:15।
Let's make a funny accent. Hello, Pinocchio. No, I think that's what he said. The other guy said.
तो जी ये डोनर कबाब्स हम डिनर के लिए रास्ते से ही टेक अवे करते आए हैं। तो इसके साथ ही मैं आज का व्लॉग एंड करती हूँ। आई होप कि आज का व्लॉग आपको पसंद आया होगा। अगर आज का व्लॉग आपको पसंद आया है तो मेरे चैनल को लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और अपनी फैमिली और फ्रेंड्स के साथ शेयर भी कीजिए। तो नेक्स्ट व्लॉग तक के लिए खुदा हाफिज़, बाय।